Beautiful dreamer, wake unto me. Starlight and dewdrops are awaiting thee. Sounds of the rude world heard in the day, lulled by the moonlight, have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, list while I woo thee with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, out on the sea, mermaids are chanting the wild over the streamlet, papers are borne, waiting to fade at the bright coming morn. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, list while I woo thee with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah, give him a hearty welcome then, hurrah, hurrah. The men will cheer, the boys will shout, the ladies, they will all turn out, and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah, we'll give him a hearty welcome then, hurrah, hurrah. The men will cheer, the boys will shout, the ladies, they will all turn out, and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah, a hearty welcome then, hurrah, hurrah. The men will cheer, the boys will shout, the ladies, they will all turn out, and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. I celebrate myself, and what I assume, you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. I loaf and invite my soul. I loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. Houses and rooms are full of perfumes. The shelves are crowded with perfumes. I breathe the fragrance myself and know it and like it. The distillation would intoxicate me also, but I shall not let it. The smoke of my own breath Echoes, ripples, and buzzed whispers, lover root, silk thread, crotch and vine. My respiration and inspiration, the beating of my heart, the passing of blood and air through my lungs, the sniff of green leaves and dry leaves, and of the shore and dark-colored sea rocks, and of hay in the barn. The sound of belched words of my voice, words loosed to the eddies of the wind. A few light kisses, a few embraces, a reaching around of arms, the play of shine and shade on the trees as the supple boughs wag, the delight alone or in the rush of the streets, fields and hillsides, the feeling of health, the full noon trill, the song of me rising from bed and meeting the sun. Have you reckoned 1,000 acres much? Have you reckoned the earth much? Have you practiced so long to learn to read? Have you felt so proud to get at the meaning of poems? Stop this day and night with me, and you shall possess the origin of all poems. You shall possess the good of the earth and sun. There are millions of suns left. You shall no longer take things at second or third hand, nor look through the eyes of the dead, nor feed on the specters in books. You shall not look through my eyes either, nor take things from me. You shall listen to all sides and filter them from yourself. I have heard what the talkers were talking, the talk of the beginning and the end. But I do not talk of the beginning or the end. There was never any more inception than there is now. No any more youth or age than there is now. And will never be any more perfection than there is now. Nor any more heaven or hell than there is now. Urge and urge and urge. Always the procreant urge of the world. Out of the dimness, opposite equals advance. Always substance and increase. Always a knit of identity. Always distinction. Always a breed of life. To elaborate is no avail. Learned and unlearned feel that it is so. Yes, we'll rally round the flag, boys, we'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We will gather from the hillsides, we'll rally from the plains, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The cause for which we've enlisted to defend, I think, is sacred and should be near and dear to every true American's heart. We shall strive on until it is accomplished. If we do not succeed, we will have the pleasure of saying, we done what we could. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah. Down with the traitors, up with the star. Yes, we'll rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We are a band of brothers and native to the soil, fighting for our liberty with treasured blood and toil. And when our rights were threatened, the cry rose near and far, hurrah for the monument flag that bears a single star. If we are driven, conquered, and penniless from this earth, I will not stand to see my country dismantled of its glory and independence. For of its honor it cannot be deprived. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah! Hurrah for the monument flag that bears a single star! Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah! Hurrah for the monument flag that bears a single star!
enlisted. I intend to stick through this, manfully. You must try and bear your lot, heroically. You said that you would not accept in the case of direst necessity, consent to have my course interrupted. I hardly agree with you in this. I often heard you deplore the incompleteness of your own education. But what dire necessity can there be than the present, unless the very burnings of our own homes? Not a soldier in that 5th Iowa was more anxious to participate in a red-hot battle than myself. I joined not more for patriotism, but hope of a tremendous adventure. We marched as light-footed and as light-hearted that morning as if we were going off to a wedding. We was all eager for the war, and we were afraid to be over, we not be in the fight. Companies were made up, regiments organized, left, we heard from morning till night. By the right flank, by the left march. It was familiar sounds. We had about the liveliest skirmish of our whole term of service at the train station, with each one of us 100 boys kissing 200 seminary girls goodbye. It was somewhat of a lengthy, but not tedious ceremony. Every young fellow who went to war got a kiss from his best girl, and as it was the first that many of us had ever enjoyed, a final farewell would last over and over again before we actually took our departure. So we're stringing straight Virginia, the old Dominion state, with the young Confederacy to join us in our fight. And we'll hurl the rebel our example for all ye states prepare. Hoist on high the bonny blue flag, and sing these out. Hurrah, hurrah, for Southern rights, hurrah. Hurrah for the bonny blue flag, up with the star. Yes, we'll ride around the flag, for Southern rights, hurrah. Hurrah for the bonny blue flag, freedom.
When quietly the days are passing, when the whole planet is in such a state of feverish excitement, and everywhere there is the stir and mob of angry life. Oh, to see and be in it all. I hate weary days of inaction. Yet what can women do but wait and suffer?
And thus, we went to war. Only a short time was needed to teach us what war was. It took a much longer time to make us soldiers.
My dear sister,
There's a spot that the soldiers all love. The mess tent's the place that we mean, and the dish we best like to see there is the old-fashioned white army bean. 'Tis the bean that we mean, and we'll eat as we narrate before. The army bean, nice and clean. We'll stick to our beans evermore.
the letter I received from you, I find a few plain questions which I now proceed to answer to the best of my ability. Do you drink whiskey? Answer, I never indulge in ardent, except extreme cases. For example, when the weather is hot, a little taken in is good to prevent heat stroke, or in cold weather, to prevent frostbites, or wet weather, to prevent the chills and fever, or dry weather to clear out the dust. With these exceptions, I seldom imbibe, unless, of course, somebody treats. Do I read the Bible? Well, I do occasionally, but for general reading, I find more news in the St. Louis dailies and in letters from home, but I haven't read any of those lately. I turn out to preaching at every opportunity, but don't get to pray often. I prayed a good deal lately for answers to several letters which I've sent home about a month ago. But, sister, it seems the prayers of the wicked don't avail to much. Signed, your confessing brother.
A private soldier is but an automaton, a machine that works by the command of a good, bad, or indifferent engineer, and is presumed to know nothing of all these great events. His business is to load and shoot, stand picket, bidet, etc., while the officers sleep. And his epitaph and obituary, but one remembered among the slain. But to what company, brigade, regiment, or corps he belongs, there is no account, and he is soon forgotten.
Dearest love, do you remember when we last did meet? How you told me that you loved me, kneeling at my feet. Oh, how proud you looked before me in your suit of blue, when you vowed to me and country ever to be true. Weeping, sad and lonely, hopes and fears how vain, yet praying, when this cruel war is over, praying that we meet again.
Dear Mary, your last welcome letter reached me way out in the edge of the woods by the Great White Oak Swamp, where our company and Company H went on a 24-hour picket starting yesterday morning. I wish you could have seen me where I was when I got it, lying on my back, sweating like a major, trying to read the New York Tribune and keep the flies, mosquitoes, and other bugs incident to this delightful region off of me. Well, last night I did not get much sleep, as there were but 2 officers on the picket. Lieutenant W being sick, Lieutenant Bennett had that first watch from 7 to 9. I had the watch from 9 to 11, and another sergeant from 1 to 3 when we all got up. Well, from 7 to 9, the pickets on the right took it into their heads that they would have a little scrimmage, so that kept me awake during that watch. And I sat down there in the dark and I thought of home. And I wondered to myself if I should ever see it again. And I contrasted it with you and everyone at home sleeping quietly in their beds. And me, myself, and these thousands of soldiers scattered around in those woods, keeping vigilant watch over Uncle Sam's farm, peering into the darkness, crunching down, staring this way and that, starting at every sound, every rustling in the woods, and the wild rabbit or that crawling lizard. And occasionally, as I sat there in the dark and terrible stillness, Then would come the cracking of a, it sounded at first like a volley of musketry, but then it ends in the crack of a falling tree, come thundering to the ground. Then would break in the barking of some house dog way off across the swamp. Then the occasional crack of a rifle off in the night. Some picket thought he saw some lurking foe. And then would come over that black and stagnant swamp the sound of rebel drums and the rumble and whistle of distant cars. And I would wonder and surmise, are they leaving Richmond? Or are more coming in? What is going on? When the summer breezes sigh mournfully along, or when autumn leaves are falling, sadly breathes the song.
Often dreams I see thee lying on the battle plain, lonely, wounded, even dying, calling but in vain,
Weeping, sad and lonely, hopes and fears how vain, yet praying, when this cruel war is over, praying that we meet again.
if amid the din of battle nobly you should fall, far away from those who love you, none to hear your call, who would whisper words of comfort, who would soothe your pain, ah, the many cruel fancies ever in my brain,
Weeping,
sad and lonely,
hopes and fears how vain, yet praying, when this cruel war is over, praying that we meet again, praying that we meet again. Well, it is now broad daylight, so we go to stacking arms and making hot coffee, munching on baked peas and hard crackers, or the boys like to call it reducing squares. And thus, the experience of one graveyard shift on a 24-hour picket. Don't you think pleasant?
June 1st is the day of National Humiliation Fasting and Prayer. We attended church at Goodrich's, a large congregation and a heartfelt service. Mr. Holbury gave an excellent sermon and made an earnest prayer. The day was well observed.
Hello, brother of mine. Have you ever thought whether man is most a creature of imitation or an independent actor upon the stage of life? I have come to the conclusion that imitation and habit are the motive powers in this world and the present age. If it were not so, perhaps, just perhaps, we would be at a different state of affairs. Perhaps we would have more of a representative man in office. I think that would get us out of these troubles that this nation and this world is at present plunged into.
Oh, God, save me. Deliver me.
O Lord, bow down thine ear.
Let me be free.
Hear us, for we are poor and needy.
Is there a God? Why am I a slave? I'll run away. Yes, get free or get clear. I'll try it.
We feel that the arm of the flesh is powerless to save.
I'd rather be killed running than to die standing.
And in thee, O Lord, have we put our trust. Oh, may the prayers of so many ascending, laden with the same petition, bring God's blessing on our nation.
My Father, how long? My Father, how long? My Father, how long? Poor sinner, suffer here, and it won't be long. It won't be long, and it won't be long. Dear sinner, suffer here, and we'll all be free. We'll all be free. We'll all be free. Dear sinner, suffer here, and it won't be long. It won't be long, and it won't be long. For sinner, suffer here. For sinner, suffer here.
Creep slowly by, Lorena. The snow is on the grass again. The sun's low down the sky, Lorena. The frost leaves where the flowers have been. But the heart throbs on as warmly now as when the summer days were nigh. Oh, the sun could never dip so low. Down affection's cloudless sky.
She passed away since I last held her hand in mine. Felt the pulse beat so fast, not faster than
Whitewash up where the dead sleep, the dying, wounded by bayonets, sabers and blood. Somebody's darling was born one day. Somebody's darling, so young and so brave, wearing silver. Soon to be hid in the dust of the grave, lingering lights of the spoiled screen. Somebody's darling, somebody's pride, who'll tell his mother where. Look out!
I staunched the blood temporarily. The youngster's face is white as a lily. Then I sweep my eyes over the scene, fain to absorb it all. Faces, varieties, postures beyond obscurity. Some of them dead. Surgeons are operating, attendants holding lights, smell of ether, the odor of blood. The crowd. The crowd of the bloody forms. The yard outside, too, is also filled. Some on the bare ground, some on planks or stretchers, some in a death spasm, just sweating. An occasional scream or cry, you can hear the doctors shouting orders, or other calls. There's a glisten of little steel instruments catching the glint of the torches. Then I resume as I chant. I see again the s'mores, smell again the odor. Then I hear outside. The orders are given. Fall in, my friend. Fall in. Before I get up and go, I look down at the boy. His eyes open. Half smile he gives me. And then they close, calmly. Close. And then out into the dark. Marching. Every night. Marching. On and on in the darkness.
We commenced that march in that darkness, 25 miles, to this little town where we took up camp along the banks of the Chickamauga. The following morning, we commenced the crossover. About noon, we had finally crossed. And no sooner had we crossed than an order came to double quick. Double quick. There seemed to be no rest for us. Double quick! Close up in the rear. Sizz, sizz. Double quick! Boom! Hurry up! Bang! Bang! Rattle the bang! Bang! Sizz. Boom! Boom! Hurry up! Double quick! Boom! Bang! Forward! God send up! March! Boom. Boom. 3 soldiers are killed, 20 wounded. Billy Webster's arm was torn out by the roots and he was killed. A fragment of shell buried itself in Jim McHugh inside, also killing Mr. Fane King, a conscript from Mount Pleasant. Charge, bayonets! Fire at will! Commence firing! We debouched through those woods, firing as we went. The Yankee line about 200 yards off. We kept up a constant fire as we marched. Boom, boom, bang, bang. It was a sort of a running fire. And in 10 minutes, we were face to face with the foe. It was only a question as to who could load and shoot the fastest.
Sitting by the roadside on a summer day, chatting with my messmates, passing time away. Lying in the shadow underneath the trees, goodness how delicious, eating goober peas. Peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness how delicious, eating goober peas.
Now, I'm not sure whether it's the stress or the heat or the quality of food in this here environment, but your body shuts down its natural drive for hunger once you enter this high-stress place. I mean, within the first 3 weeks of being here, I lost 14 pounds. 14 pounds. I mean, to be honest with you, just thinking about a meal back home just makes me nauseous. You know, eventually, you eat just because simply there ain't nothing else to do. I mean, maybe you're gonna pass out if you don't. I'll tell you, there are times where I just can't remember the last time I eat. I mean, I've been running and gunning for so long, you just just have no idea when the last time you ate was. And you have absolutely no sense of being hungry.
I am almost wild. It's been a long time since I spoke to a woman. 2 years. I've been out in the woods ever since I left home.
Fair ladies and maids of all ages, little girls and cadets, howe'er youthful, home guards, quartermasters, and sages who write for the newspapers so truthful. Clerks, surgeons, and soupes, legislators, staff officers, fops of the nation, and even you, dear speculator, come listen to my song of starvation. For we soldiers have seen something rougher than a storm, a retreat, or a fight. And the body may toil on and suffer with a smile, so the heart is all right.
For breakfast, half-pint coffee, or rather, slop water. For dinner, half-pint greasy water called soup for etiquette. And a small piece of meat, maybe 3 or 4 ounces, and a piece of bread you could squeeze into the palm of your hand and take at a mouthful. We would trap for rats, and the soldiers would eat every one they could get. Rats, okay to a hungry man. Sort of like eating fried squirrels. For we soldiers have seen something rougher than a storm, a retreat, or a fight. And the body may toil on and suffer with a smile, so the heart is all right. So the body may toil on and suffer with a smile, so the heart is all right.
My love. Last night, about sunset, I was going to my picket post all alone, and it being Sunday evening, I began to think about you. At home, thinking I did wish I knew where you were. You know, I could almost see you sitting on the porch, the children playing around you. It seemed so plain to me. I thought maybe it was a sign I would see you before long. I do want to see you so bad. I cannot express my affections for you by letter as I wish to. You must guess at the bounds. Sign, your love.
Susanna, here I come again, round these mountains. Won't you please give just a little kiss to my little boy and girl? I won't make it home
Dear madam, I'm a soldier, and my speech is rough and plain, and I really hate to do this, and I hate to cause you pain, but I promise I'd do it, because he thought it would be. So, there came someone who loved him. It might help ease the blow.
Oh, Susanna, here I come again, round the mountains. All them green fields yell out so slowly, they do call me riding. And they are the poison of tomorrow. If they take me, I'll lose you eternally.
By now, you surely guessed the pain and the truth I fain would hide. But if you would pardon my rough soldier words, as I tell you how he died.
I can't feel you, oh Susanna, while you take me in your arms. Now I'm with you, oh Susanna, morning, noon, and night. My love, how I need you. Take me from this cruel world, here and now.
Last night, I wanted so to live. I seemed so young to go. I just had my birthday.
He was just 19, you know.
When I think of all I plan to do, I seem so young to die. But now I pray to God for peace and all my cares going by.
Oh, Susanna, won't you take away all this pain inside me?
Here his voice grew weaker, and he paused and he gently raised his head, and he whispered, "Goodbye, mother," and your soldier boy was dead.
We shall meet, but we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him while we breathe our evening prayer. When a year ago we gathered, joy was in his mild blue eye. But a golden cord is severed, and our hopes in ruin lie. We shall meet, but we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him while we breathe our evening prayer.
Now, I called them out, sideboard, just as carefully as I could. Show you, if you'd like, I can show you where it stood. Now, I give you back his hymn book and the cap he used to wear, and a cut of his, like a cut that morning of his bright curly hair. I've given you back his Bible. The night before he died, we turned its leaves together, and I read it by his side. His belt that he was wearing I keep, just as he told me so to do. It had a hole upon the side, just where the ball went through. Now, I've done his bidding. there's nothing more to tell. But I shall always mourn with you, the boy we love so well.
We shall stand. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him while we breathe our evening prayer. When a year ago we gathered, joy was in his mild blue eyes. The golden cord is severed, and our hopes in ruin lie. We shall meet, but we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him while we breathe our evening prayer. On Shiloh's dark and bloody ground, dead and wounded lay. Amongst them was a drunken boy who beat the drums that day. A wounded soldier held him up. His drum was by his side. He clasped his hands, then raised his eyes and prayed before he died. He clasped his hands, then raised his eyes and prayed before he died.
The day was hot, offensive, and hospitable. Now the night arrives. Cooling breezes, sense of the dry earth, mixed with pungent hashish, warm flatbread, muttons, and beans, all woven and mixed together with each of my inhalations. The air's gentle waves pass through my uniform, soaked in sweat. Now it feels dry, fresh, washed clean by the wind. The sky to the west dances with heat light. Overhead, a sea of distant stars. To the east, my tranquility is broken by artillery guns, firing their illumination shells into the expanse of blackness. The shells rise from the guns invisible. Then, without warning, explode. The orbs of giant yellow light.
Sight in camp, the daybreak, gray and dim. As from my tent I emerge so early, sleepless. As slow I walk in the cool fresh air, the path nearby the hospital tent. 3 forms I see on stretchers lying, brought out there, untended lying. Over each a blanket spread, ample, brownish woolen blanket, gray and heavy blanket, folding, covering all. Curious I halt, and silent stand.
How many like that drum prayed before he died?
Then with light fingers. I, from the face of the nearest, first, just lift the blanket.
Below, the sleeping ground is awoken and lit by these man-made falling stars. Soon they fade, and the night reclaims its dominance. Hidden in a valley painted black by the night, and untouched by these yellow orbs. A well's pump engine beats. It's a constant rhythmic thump, thump, thump. It's a mechanical lullaby for the night, escorting children into sleep like a mother's heartbeat in a womb of sandy fields.
Then to the second I step. And who are you, my child and darling? Who are you, with cheeks yet blooming? Then to the third, a face nor child nor old, very calm, beautiful yellow-white ivory. Young man, I think I know you. This face is the face of the Christ himself, dead and divine and brother of all, and here again he lies.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
One by one, my senses are tranquilized by this Afghan night. The ethereal caress of the wind, the firm grip of the earth, the distant rhythm of war and industry, the smells of nourishment and pleasure. The night's act is complete, and my eyes close. Satiation.
Dearest love, do you remember?
Today he's past 18. He's waiting for the bus in his army green. Sat down at a booth at a cafe there. Gave his order to a girl with a bow in her hair. He's a little shy, so she gave him a smile. She said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talking to me? I'm feeling a little low. She said, I'm off in an hour and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat in the pier. I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I've got no one to send a letter to. would you mind if I sent one back here to you? Ah, how I cry, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. When the letter says, soldier's coming home. So the letters came from an army camp in California, then Vietnam, and he told her his heart, it might be love, and all those things he was so scared of. He said, when it's getting kinda rough over here, I think of that day sitting down at the pier, and I close my eyes, see your pretty smile. Don't worry, but I won't be able to ride for a while. Ah, how I cry, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. When the letter says, soldier's coming home.
Hey, Dad. It was a warm night in Baghdad. There was a slight breeze in the air, and the dark clouds above looked as though they were toying with the idea of opening up and releasing their fury on the dimly lit city below.
The young woman running along the path that paralleled the Tigris River was secretly praying that they would open up and cool her perspirated forehead. As she panted along, she thought to herself. As she panted along, she took in the beauty of scenery around her. The river to her left, and across from it the city lights. To her right were the ruins of what were once some of the most magnificent palaces in the world. It would only be a few weeks now before this chapter of her life would be over. A year ago, a student in college whose only concerns were making rent and restocking the ramen noodles, Michelle could never have dreamed how 1 year would turn her life into a top that couldn't seem to stop spinning. It spun her all the way to Baghdad, Iraq, and turned the course of her life upside down. As she neared the home stretch, she pondered how 1 year could change her perspective on life, culture, war, and things worth dying for. She began to think of her many experiences. Some would call them adventures, some nightmares, but she preferred to think of them as spices that gave the story of her life richer flavors and saucier smiles. Yes, her life had definitely gone from TV dinner to world cuisine. Maybe someday I'll write a book about this, give it my own personal spin, she thought to herself as she began her cool down.
Okay, Pops. Maybe someday I'll write a book about this place. Let's see. I went running tonight, and I thought of you guys. I love you guys, and I miss you. And I'll try to be better at writing more. Love your daughter, Michelle.
That email was sent March 30th. She was killed April 9th.
One Friday night at a football game, the Lord's Prayer said and the anthem rang. A man said, folks, would you bow your heads for a list of the local Vietnam dead? Crying all alone under the stands was the piccolo player in the marching band, and one they read, no one really cared, but a pretty little girl with a bow in her hair. Ah, how I cry, I'm never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for love, a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never want to be alone when the letter says, soldier's coming home.
Our Father, who art in heaven,
I pledge allegiance to the flag
hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come.
of the United States
Thy will be done,
of America
on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
and to the republic
Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
for which it stands,
And lead us not into temptation,
one nation,
but deliver us from evil.
under God,
For thine is the kingdom, the power,
indivisible,
and the glory,
liberty and justice
forever.
for all.
Amen.
Home, home, sweet, sweet home.